Welcome to the full-time fans preview of Week 3 of the 2023 NRL Finals Series. There are 4 teams left and 2 blockbuster matches to determine who will play in next week's 2023 NRL Grand Final. The first match will be played this Friday night, and it sees the Panthers take on the Storm. The Panthers won in Week 1 and earned themselves a week off. They'll be fresh and ready to take on a Storm side who lost convincingly in Week 1 to the Broncos and scraped through in Week 2 to beat the Roosters in the dying minutes. Harry Grant has been named to start for the Storm, which pushes Garlick back to the bench. Kamikamica has been named in the starting side and appears to have overcome his head knock from last week. Jerome Hughes is also on track to return from his calf injury and should be starting back at number 7, which will push Wishart into his more suited role of utility. Xavier Coates has not been training and is unlikely to take part, as he is still hampered by the same ankle injury which ruled him out last week. It's historically hard to tip against the Storm, as they've proved time and again over the last 20 years that they are a champion team. Craig Bellamy has always been able to get the best out of his chosen 17, no matter how depleted they are, and seem to find a way to be competitive when it counts. Having said that, most people, including the Storm themselves, would agree that they have been a bit below their own high standards this year, and it is starting to really show in the finals. They were not able to score any points against the Broncos in Week 1 of the finals, in a thumping 26-0 loss, and then they might consider themselves lucky to have been bailed out against the Roosters in Week 2, courtesy of a spectacular try by Will Warbrick in the final couple of minutes. The Storm appear to be running out of gas at the worst time of the season, with injuries and players being dropped due to poor form, not helping their cause. Uncharacteristically leaking points and not quite clicking in attack, they still somehow find themselves one win away from the 2023 Grand Final. With Craig Bellamy at the helm, you can never truly write off the Melbourne Storm completely, but it is hard to see how they will handle the professionalism of the back-to-back champions in the Panthers. They are clicking at the right time and just relish these sort of matches with their wealth of finals experience and big-game players. The Panthers have named a full-strength side, including the return of injured Jerome Luai, who will slot straight back into 5/8. Jack Cogger has filled in very well in the meantime. However, Luai's return is a huge inclusion for the Panthers. With him back in the team, it should take pressure off Cleary and give him more time and space to control the speed of the game. If the Panthers' forward pack continue to perform well this week, Cleary and Luai should sort the rest out the back, providing they don't have an unexpected off night. The Panthers have won 4 of their past 5 against the Storm, including 2 comfortable wins this season. They've also not lost a finals game since the 2020 Grand Final. That's 7 finals matches straight. The Panthers should prove too strong on the night and will probably win comfortably. Panthers by 13 points or more, looks likely. The second match this week is a clash between the Broncos and the Warriors. The Broncos are surging currently and cruise through Week 1 against a sloppy Storm outfit to earn a week off. The Warriors, on the other hand, lost big in Penrith in Week 1, but were without the services of their big playmaker, Shaun Johnson, who was ruled out through injury. Thankfully, he returned for Week 2, and with the Warriors hosting a finals match for the first time in 15 years, they turned it on for the Auckland crowd against the Knights and managed to win convincingly 40-10. The Broncos won the only meeting between these two sides this year, just edging the Warriors by 26 points to 22. And whilst neither side was at full strength, it was still a quality game and great viewing for the neutral spectator, with the Warriors nearly stealing it at the death. The Broncos are fully fit and have named an unchanged lineup, with Arthars again retaining his spot over fan favourite Oates. The Broncos are in a great position with all their rested stars back on deck again after the week off, and appear to have timed their run into this final series perfectly. They have arguably the best forward pack in the competition at the moment, which is creating plenty of time and space for a backline that is overflowing with strike power. Reynolds has been in sublime form, controlling the team around the park to perfection with his kicking game, which has never been better. Reece Walsh will be taking on his former club for the first time. Him and fellow young gun Ezra Mam have been electric and have been able to strike from anywhere on the field with their athleticism, but they also have the ball skills to provide great service to the outside backs, who all look hungry to score. The Broncos have a good team on paper this year, and they have backed it up. They are really proving to be the real deal. The Warriors have an unchanged lineup from last week, with Johnson getting through the game unscathed and even getting an early mark to rest his calf once the result was beyond doubt for the Wars. Newcore and Curran have both been named in the side, despite suffering minor injuries last week. Curran had a dislocated finger, and Newcore suffered a serious-looking knee injury at one point. However, he was treated and returned to the field later in the game. The Warriors are riding a huge wave of support from across the ditch and also boast a large supporter base in Brisbane. Their fans have become the 18th man for the Warriors in recent weeks, and it can't be understated the boost this has given the team. Up the Wires will no doubt be heard loud and proud this Saturday at Suncorp when the Warriors are doing well. However, with record Broncos memberships this season topping 40,000, and the priority access to tickets that come with these memberships, combined with countless of other locals keen to see the resurgent Broncos in their first preliminary final for several seasons and the last home game for 2023, it is likely the Broncos supporters will heavily outnumber the Warriors and should create an origin atmosphere for every special play and effort by the Broncos. The Warriors should come out strong, boasting a good forward pack themselves and the current form prop of the game in Fonua Blake. But Johnson will need to be at his scheming best to get the win at Suncorp. He will need plenty of support, and 10 out of 10 games from Nickel Klukstad and Watini Selesniak need to pull off the upset. We see the Warriors coming out strong, but ultimately the Broncos should win the arm wrestle and win this game.